our Thursday meetings every 2 weeks where a group of us get together to discuss what's going on. They're working on new releases of Beaker Brow, and I've been learning, doing some mentoring sessions to learn about the upcoming technologies at release. So I'll pass to Stacy.
Hi, I'm Stacy. I'm in New York, and I'm just here to learn what's going on. And I will pass to Mike.
You say Mike?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just, you know, I've been a part of the group for, I don't know, over a year now. Just Christina got me in here, and I'm a serial entrepreneur, and just, you know, been working on blockchain for a while, and was part of a group, and so there's a lot of, you know, big into the planet. I founded the Sharing Green Economy, and it's good to see a lot of activism worldwide, and those people are going to need something to do. So besides protest every Friday, so there's big opportunity for this and other platforms. Thank you. How about MWL? Is that Mike?
That would be me.
Oh, Graham. Oh.
Sorry, I got my sign on.
All
Hey,
right.
I'm on the west coast of Canada, Vancouver Island. Been involved with the co-op for since its inception. And my present preoccupation is that I've been invited to go to Korea for a couple of weeks to participate in discussions about basic income capacities and how community currencies can impact on that. And I'd like to pass on to Duwe. Duwe, to you.
Hi there. Hi, thank you very much. My name is Duwe, like Jukebox Duwe. I'm in Budapest at the moment, but I got Trailmarks, a founder of Trailmark. That's a UK business, not quite a business yet, but it's a startup. And I discovered DigLife a couple of 3 days ago or something, and the alignment is perfect between what we've been doing and what DigLife is about. So I'm delighted to be here. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jerry. Do you want to post a link in the chat channel there for a website or something like that? So people.
I'm already on the with Christina Habs. So Trailmarks is now on the list of joined companies or whatever, and I will put some more details there. But I think there is a link. It's just trailmarks.co, trailmarks.co, but there is not much there. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Keala, you want to go next?
Sure, I can go next. I'm on the West Coast, North America, in Portland, Oregon at the moment. Spent time in the Columbia Gorge. I work with Christina directly on the CAS lately, the Cooperation as a Service, and so helping to spin up a number of teams and those spaces. So it's pretty exciting work together. And yeah, happy to be here. I will pass it to Alex.
Oh, hi, I'm a programmer basically, and I'm trying to design creation tools, decentralized in a way, not blockchain though. I'm not expert in that. And I'm very interested in what this group can do. I'm technically a co-founder, but the most passive of them, I'm afraid. And don't know, Jim?
Jim, you want to go next?
Yeah, yeah, I've been doing research and development in online communities since the mid-'70s, and I am trying to figure out how we can cooperate at scale and develop collective intelligence. I'm working with Archain, and I'm actually in Florida, retired. Taking it pretty easy, but looking to get more involved in the DAO Alliance with DigLife and other communities. as well as ongoing work in the cooperation as a service that DigLife's doing. And how about Graham? You're on mute, Graham.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Jim. Okay, so I'm Graham. I've been involved with the collective for, I don't know, 18 months, 2 years, something like that. And I've got a lot of interest in cooperatives, going back 30 years or more. And more recently, I'm really interested in what's happening in the sort of platform cooperative space, in digital space, and where the digital world comes together with the world of cooperatives and cooperation. So that's my interest, and obviously, Digital Life Collective, with the launch of the cooperation as a service platform, is essentially a platform cooperative in its own right now. So that's an exciting innovation, which I'm really interested in pursuing. So thanks for that. I'm going to pass across to Gary.
I'm Gary Coulter. I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. I have a background in math and computer science. I know enough to be dangerous in a lot of areas. Why I came to DigLife, I've been here since they allowed us to say we were co-founders if we paid our dues by a certain date. But I'm starting to see DigLife. Our basic tenet is tech we trust, and I really do feel like an organization that is concerned about building technology that we can trust. But I see us doing it as a place for convergence of different ideas that seem to be coming together now. And I'm seeing it in the technical areas involved with our chain, but I see it at higher macroscopic levels as well. And so if I had to say anything about DigLife at this quarter, I'd say we need to think about ourselves as facilitators of this convergence. And, in a practical way, we can become a place where communities with coming at problems from different angles can get close enough to the central problem that they start seeing overlap between other communities. Okay, and now I've probably gone on way too long. I will pass the baton to Christina.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Alex, I haven't had a chance to meet you, but otherwise, I'm me. And I came in late. I'm not sure if Adrian's had a chance to go. I do want to say one thing. I'll be in the next month or two launching an inclusion and diversity initiative to get people in the room who don't look like all of us. So look out for that. I'll send an email newsletter as well as put things in the chat. And I would really like from new members to understand, I saw, Alex, your email asking for a member page to understand your needs. So feel free to ping me on that. That would be great. And then we can get that going with the city CRM we now have running. Adrian.
So yes, I'm Adrian Gropper. I've been around for a long time, sort of popping in and out. My principal interest is health records that are decentralized and controlled by the patients, and that's me. I'm in the Boston area. Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian. I think I can't remember. Sorry, I can't remember the name of the person who was on the phone. Do you want to say a few words?
Sure. My name is Magenta.
Hi.
Hi. I'm with an organization called Bloom Network. I worked with Christina through the TRCC before. And I'm here because Bloom is basically like an on-the-ground, decentralized, like internationally distributed activism group. And we're looking at setting up a cooperative that can function in a distributed way internationally. So we're setting the infrastructure for that up this year using digital tools. So tuning in.
Cool. That sounds very fun.
Magenta, ping me in the chat and we'll find a time to go over the tools.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be interested to be involved in that as well. Thanks. Okay, has everyone had a chance to say a word? I think so. Oh, Joachim, sorry. Thank you.
Last but not least, hello. This is Joachim Stroh. I'm in Brooklyn, New York here. Sunny weather today, but cold. I'm a co-founder of the DigLife Collective. Was involved in the cooperation as a service model, including other people on the call here, working all together on getting this thing off the ground. Right now, I'm involved with the DAO Alliance that I introduced on the last call. And since then, I've taken a leadership role over in the HIFA world. So HIFA is the new umbrella organization that includes work on the HIFA DAO, which is this, what I call third generation DAO model that we're creating, and HIFA houses and a lot of other things that are coming out of this. It's also part of the Seeds project. Many of you are familiar with the Seeds cryptocurrency, like a new currency for regenerative society. So we're all working together on getting that off the ground as well. So looking forward to chatting today, and welcome everyone.
Thanks, Joachim. I'd be interested to find out a bit more about HIFA and DAO Alliance and how it fits with what we're doing. Is there a sort of channel of calls or something like that I can get involved in? How does that work?
I'll stick you in there and then you can ping Joachim.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm interested as well, Christina. I'm joking. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Okay. So let's have a quick look at where we are. So okay. So I was hoping that Philip might be with us by now, but I think he's running a bit late. He's on another call with work. He's just pinged me on that. So I'm going to move him further down the agenda. He's going to give us a quick summary as he normally does on these general meeting calls, just to let us know that we're still solvent and up and running, you know, that sort of stuff. So I'll move on to ask Joachim then to give us a quick update on where we are with cooperation as a service and the DAO Alliance.
Right. So we've been doing some work on cooperation as a service, you know, on supporting that model, on creating some better protocols, onboarding protocols for new organizations. And I'm sure Christina can talk about some of the potential candidates we have, as well as groups that are starting to use it now. My side was on the technology side. Of course, we're, you know, I think we've now stabilized the portal that we have, and have the capacity now to offer these basic services, which are coming from the always trustworthy Cloud-on platform, right? That serves up all of the different applications. If you haven't seen it, so I encourage you to take a look at Cloud-on. There's an app store. You can just search Cloud-on App Store to see if there are any applications that stick out for you, and maybe we can add them to the mix. So that's the idea, right? So we provide the entry point to the portal at diglife.coop to utilize some of these services that are coming out of the Cloud platform. So I think we've been making some good progress here, all the work that people here are involved. And we're moving it forward. So let me talk a little bit about the DAO Alliance. So the DAO Alliance is it's a group of people on the HIFA side, as well as us, as well as a few development shops. One is called Digital Scarcity, and another one is GoodBlock. GoodBlock is part of the Telos network. So Telos is a blockchain. It's a third-generation blockchain company that's based on EOS.io. That's a larger blockchain where they forked off their own currency from, but they're still sharing the same technology platform. So that's the underlying technology for the DAO that we're putting together now. The way I see us moving forward is kind of a partnership with the DigLife Collective. So we're working together on getting some of our ideas into their model. And that includes things like visualization, the holonic mapping we're doing, the network charting, and some other idea that come from the CAS Foundation. And then eventually we'll be able, you know, that's my idea for this alliance, that we will be able to utilize some of the services that the HIFA DAO is going to provide. So they're going through a similar transition what we did, you know, going from a single organization, DigLife, to a multi-organization. So we can invite any kind of group to join us, and they create their own space, right? So they have their own workspace, their own tool sets, and their own protocols that they develop. Similar thing is happening with the HIFA DAO, where they start with using the DAO to build the DAO, right? So that kind of bootstrapping is happening right now. And then in the next stage, they're going to invite other organizations using the HIFA DAO to create, you know, evolve their organization. I can show you a few slides if we have time, everyone. But that's the idea. So I think early next year, sorry, not next year. We're already in 2020. Goes so fast. Okay, early this year, we're going to have the first iterations of the DAO, the HIFA DAO, up and running. And what you can do there is basically define your roles and create a basic structure for your organization. So that means once you define the role in the system, then you can actually tie it to a cryptocurrency, right? And then you can begin to reward members using the platform, right? And that's the whole idea. So there are multiple ways doing that, obviously, and there are lots and lots of different currencies we can use. We could tie it to, let's say, seeds currency, which I would actually propose, so that our partnership results in a sort of a basic payout in seeds that we then can use to, let's say, experiment with our new roles that we're seeing coming out of the CAS project, right? So that'll be a good way for us to jumpstart and get more involved with the crypto world and with sort of the transactional side of things. I see you, Gary. Well,
Yeah.
You want to jump in? Okay.
How does this strategy, this Telos strategy, how does it interface with the Fuse.io product we were talking about yesterday?
At this stage, I don't think it does overlap a lot. It could be potentially in the future. The reason is, you know, we're starting with one ledger technology, which is Telos, right? But we want to be agnostic to other ledgers in the future, right? That could be Holochain if they're getting ready. And that could be something like Fuse, which is based on Ethereum, right? On their platform. So there are lots of possibilities. It's an open space. I see it really as a non-competitive space too. That's important to keep in mind. We're not competing against each other here. We're all trying to figure out what the best way is to move these platforms forward, especially in the DAO space, right? I mean, there's been some wild assumption on what's the best way to manage an organization with a DAO, and nobody really has a clear answer to that. And it's great to see other players in this space trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, I see Mike, and then
but just one more thing.
And then Gary,
you,
yeah.
see, you see Telos's approach being, as far along as the Fuse.io product?
They're further along, Gary, I would say.
Oh, wow. Okay. I would like to see the evidence of that, but I haven't put it together yet from their angle. I see what Fuse is doing almost instantly, but I haven't quite figured out the scheme of the TLS project.
What I suggest, Gary, is take a look at the Seeds Passport. So they've created a new passport app, which show you, I have it here, maybe later, where you can manage your seeds, and that's basically using the Telos platform to manage your cryptocurrency on that mobile app. And that's a pretty sophisticated app. They're still in alpha, they're moving to beta now. And I think that has some promise. And when I'm saying better, you know, with Fuse, they're more on a steady kind of mimicking PayPal, right? So it's just
I could see that they wanted to be a payment thing for you know, local concerns, and they weren't so much addressing DAOs and things like that.
Right. And that's their model. We can talk about that too, Michael. I see your hands here.
I may be mistaken, as I so often am in technical areas, but my impression is Fuse provides a wallet that can act as a gateway into any carrier currency. So it's a possibility for an individual wallet that can even handle your bank account at some stage if the banks allow you to transport to it. That it uses Ethereum as its internal carrier does not mean that the transactions are processed through Ethereum. That's just the basis on which they create their own internal mints. So I think it's actually very much more advanced as a user component than anything else I've seen in this area. But with the proviso that I'm talking absolute nonsense.
Thanks, Michael. Mike, you had a question? Then Jim?
Yeah, I posted a white paper. It's called AO.network is where you can find it. On the last meeting we had here, I posted. I was just wondering if anyone had a chance to look it over. I'm a part of a company called Paramation, and these guys put together a ton of work on AO.network. It's probably it's the best thing I've ever seen on a DAO as far as any aspect you could possibly think of it on a humanity level. And coincidentally, there's a lot of diversity on the team. But these guys put everything they had into it. And it's interesting that you guys talk about non-competition, non-compete. But I mean, everybody's lives were just put on hold, I mean, I put a lot of money into, like, 3/4 of my net worth. We're all into debt up to our ears. But what we did is, you know, we created, it's just remarkable. I understand about, I don't know, I only stood about 30% of it, but I understand a lot more about it now. But
Mike, this kind of reminds me of the Fuse.io. Are you familiar with that?
What is it?
Fuse.io.
No.
Joachim, can you see the parallels here?
Well, let me take a closer look at the AO app here. That's great, Mike, you bring this up, because we do need more voices in this space, and see if we can collaborate on things, including Fuse, right? I'm not saying we're not wanting to work with them, but I just have to prioritize things. There's too much going on.
Yeah. The way I see the DAO Alliance is that we're each using our own tools, and we need to interoperate. And there's certain tools that we can use to help our interaction. And Fuse and AO that network have niches there, and ultimately we're going to be able to store any asset on any platform, and and I'm looking to connect to our chain because I think in order to control asynchronous communicating processes, which is what the internet is, we need a process in order to constrain it formally, we need a process calculus. The row calculus of our chain is how I want to program my own thing so that the world computer obeys my rules. And each of us has their own communities they're bringing into this. And we want our DAOs to work together. We don't know how to build them. This is all new for all of us. And what's going to evolve, we don't know yet. And we're just learning that.
Right. Thanks, Jim.
Okay, thanks. Have you got more for us, Joachim? On this?
I have lots more, but maybe we can go back to the agenda and then circle back if there's
Can you just point people, especially people who are not here listening to the recording, at the right channel if people are interested in this? Where is the best place to join that conversation for DigLife members?
Can I ask? Yes. Sorry, after.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adrian.
Let me see
just
the entry.
Yeah. I don't want to butt in, but of all, we have a lot of people now represented, different DAO approaches. Have any of you run across DAOs that are focused on medicine? I'm particularly interested from regulatory reasons, which I'm not going to go into now. But do any of the DAOs that have been mentioned in the last few minutes have a medical bent or interest amongst their members?
We can tailor our solution or white paper in any format. I'm not the expert behind it, but I'm sure we could do something there. Do you have any possible funding for that?
No. I'm just asking, just because there seem to be so many different ones represented. If by people who are heavily involved, if anybody does run across one that's interested in healthcare applications, please count me in.
Okay, thanks, Adrian. How can people get in touch with you? Are you is there a place in the Mattermost where you hang out? Or?
Yeah, there's
yeah, I'm easy to find.
Oh, for Adrian, of course. The other thing about the DAO Alliance, there's a domain for the DAO Alliance in our Mattermost space. Most of the conversations are happening now in their space. We're also going through a transition there and see what the best communication channels are. For example, they're using Telegram for a lot of the chats now, but want to move into other spaces. So I'll provide some more information in our channel, right? If you go to the DAO Alliance there, you can join it. Just ping me and then I'll invite you to that space and I can keep you up to date from there. Okay, thanks, Joaquin. That's really helpful. Okay, lots going on there, I think, and we're probably all feeling our way in semi-darkness. It feels like on that sort of stuff, trying to work out what some of the vocabulary means. But lots of interesting activity nonetheless. Okay, so Philip, hi. Thanks for joining the call. I just wondered if you could can we jump to you now for the state of the collective agenda item, or do you want a moment to gather your thoughts on that?
No, if that's in the context of having the honour of being secretary of the cooperative, then I can live up to that in so much as we are liquid, which is fundamentally the thing everybody needs me to report on. We are trading legally, therefore. The accounts were closed in good time for the 2018 year, and I've just started working with our accountants on closing 2019. well, I say on closing, actually getting them everything they need to start to prepare the accounts. And I've basically said that those accounts need to be closed by our AGM, which I think is in September. So we're in good time. Everything's in good order.
Excellent. That's good to hear. Thank you very much for that. Any questions for our Honourable Secretary? No, people are bowled over, I think, from that. Thank you.
I can actually see in their eyes a number of them wishing to volunteer to be the secretary from our next AGM, just based on the excitement of the delivery there.
I can see that. Excellent. Okay. Right, moving on then. So, all right, there's a bit about me now, about membership renewal and such like. So, people, if your membership has technically expired because we've never actually asked people to renew before today, then you will have received an email, hopefully, encouraging you to renew your membership. And I've seen some action on that front already through the course of the day today, as people have been responding to that. So thank you if that's you, if you renewed your membership through that process. We will keep gently nudging you, and at some point in the fairly distant future, we'll probably need to take a view of that, who's really a member and who's swinging the lead. But for the moment, we'll carry on in a very open way, I think, and enable people to continue to engage with the organisation. So, but obviously, you know, with all this stuff going on, we need your membership subscriptions to keep the lights on. And so that's really, really helpful. If you've not received an email, then do check your junk folder, because you should have got one if your membership's out of date. So thanks very much for that. So from here on in, membership of the collective and the legal cooperative that underpins it is annually renewable from here on. So we've now got our act together and our technology lined up to be able to manage that reasonably effortlessly. So hopefully we're now on a sort of a more even keel in terms of membership administration. So if anyone's got any queries or questions about that, either ask me now or at some point in the future, and I'll be very happy to respond on how we're operating that.
Yeah, can I just say kudos to you, Graham? That process works flawlessly. I tried it out this morning. Thank you so much for all the work you put into this to get us up and running on this.
Thank you for that. Okay.
Second that. Yeah.
May I ask what the payment options are?
The payment option is that you pay by credit or debit card using Stripe as our nominated payment processor. If that's not suitable, then we're very happy to look at other options.
I'm just wondering, I got notice on my phone. I don't want to attempt that on my phone. So I'm sort of putting off trying it on my computer. I have property taxes to deal with online, which is sort of weighing heavy on me right now. And but when I get around to that, would you recommend that I attempt it from my laptop?
It should work on any device. Everything should be mobile friendly. But if you prefer to use a desktop machine or something like that with a larger screen, then by all means. But yeah, it should be adaptable to any device, hopefully. If anyone gets any experience that runs counter to that, then do let me know, because I'd be interested to get some feedback on that and see if we can improve. But we should be flexible enough.
Graham, can you talk about the functionality of joining multiple groups? Eric's got a question in the chat here about joining another group.
Okay.
At the same time, can you talk about the pathway?
Right. So at the moment, we've what we've got set up is we've got a membership sign up and renewal page, which works if you want to become a member or renew your membership for the Digital Life Collective. And for each of the organizations that we're currently working with in terms of the Cooperation as a Service platform, where they want that to enable their members, their community of interest to sign up. So we've created a separate page for each of those organizations. So for example, the alumni of the Capra course, there's a page where they can sign up for that. So at the moment, they're all siloed, they're all independent of each other, and they don't interoperate. But we could easily create a page where people could sign up for memberships, multiple memberships. That's certainly doable. So if anyone particularly wants that functionality, so for example, okay, you're part of a community that was interested in using the Cooperation as a Service platform, and maybe you want to give your members the opportunity to become Digital Life Collective members at the same time as signing up, then that's certainly doable. Or indeed, that's true of any of the communities or groups that we're working with at the moment. So yeah, if that's something that's of interest to you particularly, or your organization, then let us know. We can put that functionality in place relatively easily, I think, he said.
So any organization that wants membership fees collected can partner with Digital Life, and Digital Life will collect the membership for them through this civic CRM facility that you've developed here, right?
In principle, Jim, that's absolutely true. In practice, it's going to, it depends on the devil is in the detail on this stuff. So as a case in point, so we've just started working with some people here in the UK called Kent Food Hubs, who are doing some stuff around local food with their networks, and they particularly want to be able to use some additional CVCRM based services to enable them to communicate with their group, with their network. So we're looking at how to do that. Which would entail giving them more access into the back end. So we need to control permissions and things like that around that. But so that's something that we're looking at. But if it's simply a case of, oh yeah, I run a membership organization, can you handle the admin for me? I think that that's broadly doable. Mike, you got a question there?
Yeah, as far as funding and being able to compensate people and, especially grow the membership, diversity and inclusion. I'm not independently wealthy. I'm not sure what all of you do professionally, but is there a vision here as far as funding and building something out of this, or is it all volunteer? I mean, what's the strategy there?
That's a very good question. Anyone want to jump in particularly on that? Otherwise, I'll add a little bit.
I'll start. So Cooperation as a Service has emerged as a potential business model. As the groups join, we're in this weird position now of having all volunteer and not having the volume to really pay people, but we're getting close to having enough activity where we could, even just with half or quarter time sysadmin and a half or quarter time community coordinator who's doing a lot of the CAS stuff. And by sysadmin, I'm including Civi and Graham's huge work there. So we're in this kind of purgatory at the moment where we have a lot to do, probably more than volunteer is really capable of, but we're not out of the volunteer realm yet, but there definitely is a pathway towards that. Joachim, you want to say anything about that and adding that to the roles in the HiFiDAO stuff. We are moving towards cooperation as a service, really focusing on the service part, and the partnership with the DAO Alliance / HiFiDAO / other interoperable tech tools would handle more of the tech side. And we would be customizing the tech for groups, helping people set it up, etc.
Right, right. Yeah, so we've been strong on the interaction, you know, on the social layer on top of all the tools we offer. We haven't been doing enough for the transaction, right, to say actually people take on certain roles and responsibilities here and want to get rewarded for that, right? And that to me is coming once we're getting closer to the HiFiDAO, where we can define those roles and start to reward people. How that reward is going to look like, that's still, you know, a lot of discussions around that. I do like to see, you know, some kind of a compound salary here. That's a mix of kind of token-based salaries. Some of them, you know, eventually liquid, so you can support yourself and have a fiat currency at the end. But there are a lot of questions here, of course, then in terms of taxation and then what the kind of token is, what trading platforms you're using, lots and lots of stuff that is happening there. I don't think we're ready yet to support our own finance, sort of our own roles with the funds we have in our bank account. This will take a while. But, you know, we never know how the new organizations that join us, how that plays out. You know, if they bring in lots of members, then that's a viable model too, right? Then we need to think more carefully what we do with our income. Organic, I have to say, it's a very organic way we fund ourselves. So there are plenty of options in that space. But as Christina said, initially this will be some of the support roles, right? In the sysadmin space and the CAS space. And then we can slowly expand from there. So I do see there's a path towards establishing more dedicated roles, different roles in the future going forward here.
Thanks. Yeah, just to sort of chip in on top of that, I do, my own view, I guess, is that I think what we're doing is really quite interesting, and I think it's beginning to attract more and more interest from organizations that are sort of broadly aligned with what we're about. And I think that as we begin to publicize more about what we're doing and roll it out more widely, my sense is that there will be opportunities for us to maybe get some funding, maybe some grant funding or something like that, which will enable us to make a step change on the financial side of things, and maybe start to, you know, pay for a part-time role or something like that, which would help us accelerate that process towards becoming a sort of sustainable business operation, essentially. That's where I think that's probably quite practical, and I'm hopeful that that might happen in the next 12 months.
And I think, you know, I think it's worth saying that, you know, some of us are actually getting paid for work that is in a cooperation with DigLife. So that people that are partnering with us, like Telos and Archain and are bringing in funding for mapping, for doing other things that are really DigLife business, but they're getting paid from other sources, because we all of our organizations need the same thing. You know, when one pays for it, they all get it. It's a very powerful cooperation model where we, you know, the demands we have for the systems of the future are great, but if we cooperate, it's many hands make light work.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Jim. Okay, any more on that point? No? Okay. So I'm going to ask Christina now to do a piece on member engagement and project support. That's what it says on the agenda. Christina?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of kind of the CAS effort has been sucking up all the volunteer air in the room. But I definitely am really interested in having people be able to coherently know where to put information about their projects. Like Eric has set up the Climb Dat Mountain channel. People can find it, even if he's only there once a month or something. It's findable, the links are there, and the portal allows people to explore that way. I would love to know how better to support member projects. So if you want to talk to me about that, chime in. The feedback channel, the help desk, any place that seems right in the main chat is great. We also have a new member who's going to be putting his project both in the member projects and the friends, just saying, you know, this is a legal entity, but their WeCo is basically a social network for link sharing, tagging, bookmarking links, and he's interested in being able to automate channels both coming into Mattermost and going out of Mattermost. So a lot of the channels where people are interested, people will just ping a link and then there'll be a little bit of discussion around it, but sometimes it's just this waterfall of links. So WeCo would make that a searchable thing. So if you put a link in the channel, you have like a searchable thing. So I'm going to be joining that and trying it out for the maps space, which I'm catalyzing into a little bit more of a, I don't know, peer-to-peer learning space for all the mappers. We really need a links library. So if anybody is interested in doing that with me, I'm there. Other than that, we've grown to however many, Philip, how many members do we have now? Like 250?
Just over 260.
There you go. So we've done that without ever actually doing a member drive. We've never done like a formal member drive. So I think that with the portal fairly stable, as soon as we figure out our making the member orientation, member support, and managing your membership at DigLife and really understanding what's available, once that's clear and we have solved the preponderance of people who look the same in tech balance that we have here, once those two things are done, I think we can do a real member drive and really have an active community that you can kind of go into a main calendar, find the different events and projects and whatnot. So I have a vision for that, but of course we're still all volunteers, so go slowly.
Okay, any questions on that one or comments for Christina? Jerry? You're on mute.
Okay, sorry, I was disconnected for 10 seconds, but it's okay. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Anyone else on that? Okay. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the sort of formal agenda that we've got for this meeting. We've got 5 minutes until the top of the hour. Does anyone want to raise any particular issue or as any other business item? Stick your hand up if that's you. Who was that? No? Philip, you got your hand up?
Just a quick one. I don't know if it came up earlier because obviously I only joined halfway through. But we have a conversation that's rekindled with Radical Exchange, which is the community associated with the economics book of 2018 called Radical Markets, which turned into some kind of bestseller. Radical Exchange has held one conference to date in Chicago 11 months ago, which Michael's holding up a copy of the book. Thank you, Michael, lovely assistant. and the community, well, the very first conference, there were many hundreds of people attending, and the community probably ranks into the thousands, and they've been investigating how to bring it together digitally, asynchronously, not just physically, synchronously. And they've been looking around at lots of things since our first conversations of March, April last year. And they've just emailed to set up a call with Joachim and myself on the basis that they've now decided that actually our proposition looks to be something that meets their needs closer than anything else we've seen, which is wonderful news. But to the points that have come up a lot on this call, and excuse the noise of my dog, she's just right up stride. She's obviously feeding. Anyway, that's a big community. You know, bringing in a dozen people for the identity community is one thing. Bringing in half a dozen people for Kent food hubs initially is another thing. As soon as we start having conversations with communities that could quite quickly go from 0 to hundreds in days, it's something that we are going to need to think about more diligently and with greater cooperation between more of us than we've did in the past. So, on the basis that this meeting goes well, on Friday I think it's going to be, then we may put out a call to action to you to see if you can help us with this process, specifically for Radical Exchange, given it's potentially the biggest community that we've have the opportunity to onboard in 2020.
Sounds promising. Thanks for that. Exciting stuff. Okay. I think that's a good point to end.
Can I just ask, especially the non-usual suspects, if you're not on the regular calls, I would love to hear from you about, in less than a sentence, what is one thing as a DigLife member that you would love to see, like in the next 3 to 6 months? What's been lacking in what we're providing our members?
Anyone want to answer that?
Access to a digital economy.
Thanks,
Okay.
Gary.
When's we have open calls every week, Christina, don't we? That people can join in, and
those are all on the public calendar on the website.
All in the public calendar that's linked from the website. I think there's a call, there's like an Ask Me Anything type call that happens on Mondays. Is that correct?
Yes, and if the times don't work for you, you can always ping in the help desk and ask.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I guess, I don't know, trying to get money for all this stuff. Is there a subgroup for that?
I think that the DAO Alliance and all of that, being able to define roles, tokenization, and projects will be responsible for bringing in their own funding. But I think that the tech facility for wrangling that is what the DAO Alliance is about. Is that fair to say, Joachim?
Yes, I think so. I mean, we have to keep in mind also the experiment we started with the CAS tool will continue, but it's not going to be a software as a service model, right?
Yeah.
We're not a software development shop here. What we do is bring together the right technology we trust, right? And build the protocols to connect all of the different people and organizations that are joining us, right? If out of this model comes a business model, then that's great, but it's still very experimental at this stage and not intended to go into a software development thing. That's a bit different on the Haifa DAO side, where they really develop a software model and a way to interact with the Telos platform, right, and define your organization and to help your organization to grow. So there's this interesting overlap here to say maybe there are new roles coming up over there or even your own organization you want to boot up using the Telos platform and HyperDAO.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Jerry, got your hand up.
Just a very quick question. I see there's an open ecosystems mapping code tomorrow, which sounds very alluring to me. If anybody could comment on it, what to expect there? Thank you.
That's actually, we had the open ecosystem mapping calls happen for about a year and a half. And because of a bunch of the mappers getting really busy, that has kind of not gone. If you join the Open Learning Commons, which we need to actually figure out what the pathway is there, because I think that the pathway is just to join DigLife at the moment. There's an ecosystem mapping call. Anyway, Jerry, I'll take this. I'll ping you in the chat and figure it out, but I need to take that off the calendar, actually. We are going to reschedule some calls, and we're getting ready for the DigLife Maps space, which I can add you to right now, to be a little bit more coherent and have people have a lot of different kinds of mapping calls. You're muted.
So there isn't a call tomorrow on that with that topic, is that correct?
Yeah, I'll go take that off the calendar right now.
Yeah, that's okay. That's why I asked, because I wasn't sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, right. So I'm going to wind up now, because we're over the hour. So I'd just like to thank everyone for your time, for participating in the call. Do help us spread the word about Digital Life Collective. If you know people that you think might be interested in joining, participating, then do let them know and give them the links. And if you know of any communities or networks that you're involved in or that you're affiliated to that you think might find the Corporation as a Service platform of use, then we're interested in having that conversation, I think. So thanks again for your time, and we'll end the call there.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you for that. Thank you all.
Thank you.